Well, realistically,
Oh, there's two. Oh.
Sure.
You're going to have multiple things going on at once because you can't
Oh, yeah,
have the
there's no
entire
question about
population
that.
of the event. Oh, I'm moving over to this area to watch this. Now we're going to this area. It'd just be like a wave of people walking back and forth rather than kind of a cohesive go and do what you want kind of thing. But I do think the collabs are definitely better. But if they do single, they would make it easier on Twitch for sure. If they did kind of lump people or give people the option to, like, hey, here's the list of people that want to do stuff. Pick, a couple of people, talk with a couple of people, find something that you guys can do together, whatever. That's the more fair way to go about it. But realistically, you're probably going to want to spotlight some of your bigger streamers on Twitch at certain points, just because from a PR perspective, you're going to want to drive up as much hype. And I hate to use that word over and over, but you want to blow it out. It's your first TwitchCon too, so you're going to use your resources you have available to you.
Yeah, my one fear is just that you have let's just start using names. You have a Lyric just go there, and all Lyric, he just streams from the event, and that's Lyric's thing. Like, is that enough to make it special for TwitchCon?
Maybe he has a cam. I don't know.
But dude, I mean, that's kind of focusing on the negative aspects of it. I mean, then you're going to have people that go out there.
You have to focus on the negative aspects of it in this particular.
Well, I mean, a lot of people okay. I don't.
You don't want a negative con. You want amazing things.
But I know. But I'm just saying, a lot of people, even if somebody watches a streamer every single day and they're really a fan, they really like it, to them it's not really going to matter if their favorite streamer is not like putting on a show for them. They're going there to see their favorite streamer. So I don't think that having somebody who's not used to being in the public eye, I don't think that's going to be a huge problem. I don't think that Twitch needs movie stars. I don't think TwitchCon needs people to come out and be larger than life. That's not really the point of streaming.
Right.
I mean, granted, there are streams that are that way, but most of us are just guys that like good vibes, communities, and playing video games. So I really, we have kind of a little bit going for us in the regards where I don't think the perspective is really going to be expecting a lot of that. Now, they may be expecting that from the production value of Twitch and, the high quality, visuals, overlays and all the cool stuff at the con and stuff like that, absolutely go expect that all the time. But the actual people, I think I don't think that'll be as big of an issue. Because people, even if I saw Lyric, eating somewhere, I'd be like, oh shit, look, it's Lyric. He wouldn't be doing anything, and I think a lot of people are going to be doing the same way at a con with that kind of stuff.
So the other question is, how do you, I guess it's a problem. I don't know I'll just say it. How do you get people interested to go to a con if it's a con about streaming where everything will just be streamed to begin with? Like, if Twitch has something there that's not streamed, there better be a fucking amazing reason for a website that is about streaming inherently to not be streaming it.
I think it's more about making the option available for people to go and meet some of their favorite streamers, kind of almost as like a novelty thing.
Is that enough, you think?
We're going to find out, because that's my concern, is that, like, I guess once the tickets hit, we'll see exactly what the interest is. I don't think we're really going to know till then. I know they did some polling and stuff like that preemptively to see. I would love to know those numbers and statistics.
Right.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be like drop frames packs, like till it happens. Like, we're not going to know if it's going to be a hit or not.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm going to drop a straw poll into the chat. Unless, Code, do you have like an inherent polling in your chat?
Okay. Not that wouldn't spam the channel to hell. Yeah.
There you go.
But, that's true. Yeah.
Go ahead.
But it's okay. It's the kind of thing where, first of all, I agree. I bet you that Twitch will be streaming just about everything, and probably a lot more. And that is a good point. Why wouldn't they just sit at their house and watch Twitch anyway? But my answer to that is how many times in your life when watching your favorite streamer do you have the opportunity to go and see them? Especially if you're nearby, or if you work a day job and you have some extra money laying around and you watch this dude every day, how often do you have to go and shake his hand? Or in my case,
or be in the background of the stream, maybe if there's a cam.
Absolutely. Like think if Twitch took what Cobalt just said to the next level, and there were specific events where random viewers could get on streams with people and do all sorts of fun stuff and maybe be completely involved, interactive streaming with people at TwitchCon.
Whoa.
Go not only meet your streamers, but stream with your streamers. Maybe streamers can run events and tournaments where they're walking around with the Surface on them in a thing while they're running tournaments with all these people that are at the con.
You could have a streamer tournament.
Yeah,
and invite your viewers to it.
Look at that poll, guys.
Holy
That is not what I expected.
Me neither.
We're at 76% right now with no.
Yeah.
If you would attend
votes
TwitchCon.
in.
Oof.
That is a large majority right there. Holy crap.
Well, something else to consider, though. Okay, so let's assume that everyone is putting no, because just like you said up top, because, hey, it's going to be, it's going to be streamed everywhere, and who cares, and, no big deal. Well, okay, in that case, TwitchCon is the foundation of a huge event on Twitch. It's kind of like a win-win either way.
Also might be Europeans, too.
Absolutely. Yeah. But at that point, you're bringing in all these major streamers to one place, so people on Twitch that, a part of all these hundreds of different communities would have one place to go to see them and see what they're doing. That alone could be worth it to Twitch. Even if they didn't sell out tickets or sell stuff like that, it's basically putting on a massive event that is then, broadcast live on the internet.
So here's another question. Do you sell a Twitch pass to watch TwitchCon? Like BlizzCon sells a BlizzCon pass to watch BlizzCon.
I would say that they could. And the reason I say that is because think about how much money Twitch is putting into the production of this.
Oh, yeah.
Like they
multi-million-dollar thing, yeah.
Probably millions of dollars. Who knows? They have to have some way of getting that back. If it's not through physical ticket sales, I see them doing pay sales as well. But at the same time, I think it'd be cool in a situation like that if Twitch Turbo members got it for free.
That's
or something.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Good idea,
I think it'd be cool to, at that point, when you're controlling the medium of presentation, like, they should do some really fun things to cut people that have supported Twitch in any way, some kind of deal. Again, this is all just conjecture. Who knows if they're even going to do this. But, I certainly would understand it. Especially, remember, this con's only 2 days, and it's the first one of its kind. Like, There's so many things that are not, this isn't just a standard event, that, it'd probably be safer for them to do something like that.
Yeah, you're not going to pull in a group, though, of people interested in going for multiple things. Like, a lot of people go to PAX for the games, and being able to stop by the booth is kind of just the Twitch booth is kind of just like a bonus. Like, oh, maybe I can go watch some streamers, but I'm really going for the games and the panels and all this. And I think it was really interesting as well that they kind of put... I mean, from a timeline perspective, TwitchCon is right next to PAX Prime, which is the largest event.
Yeah, that's the shit.
And honestly, BlizzCon will be a month, no more than a month, if not 2 months out from TwitchCon. So,
and that's making a lot of people that are in our community have to make a choice, because not everybody is, well off enough to be able to hit up all of these conventions.
Well, that's a good question to ask. Like, if I were to ask all four of us, if you had PAX Prime, TwitchCon, where are you going?
For me, TwitchCon, because I would have already gone to PAX East and PAX South, and as a streamer, I would benefit more from having interaction with Twitch as a company going to TwitchCon. Even if I don't stream, even if I don't do anything professionally, TwitchCon's a better choice.
Yeah, it's an interesting question for somebody that's going to experience the event, but for us, Zeke, as streamers, like, it seems like we don't. That's a no-brainer. When we've got 2 other PAXs we can go to, and there's one TwitchCon, like,
right?
That's for me, it's a no-brainer. I would go to TwitchCon.
But again,
I will say, I really hope that, and again, I don't even know if they
let me finish. You're gonna let me finish. I know.
Go ahead. Please do. I'm sorry. You're actually kind of cutting out a little bit on my side. I'm sorry if I interrupt you. Just interrupt me back, seriously. But one thing that I do kind of hope TwitchCon evolves to, which I know this is probably really controversial because some people want this and some people wouldn't, but I would love to see TwitchCon move to a place where vendors, game developers, stuff like that are like, dude, we should wait for TwitchCon to announce our stuff, or we should go to TwitchCon and that's where we should drop all of our PR bombs. I'd love to see that kind of sync up. Right. Because you take things like Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon arguably got a massive PR boost from Twitch. Just absolutely owned it. They did that phenomenal event at the beginning, main menu, just absolutely crushed it with all that stuff. Other indie devs are seeing this and going, we need to get our project affiliated with Twitch. So I'd love to see, and even AAA devs would be stupid not to look at that kind of stuff. And a lot of devs are, the 2K guys, Daybreak, a lot of people are coming to Twitch now. But giving them a venue to talk to the Twitch community and bring new info, announcements, things like that there. If that really picks up, then TwitchCon could really get a spot on the map quick.
Yeah. And again, I think maybe that's why you saw the poll split that way it was, because we've said it multiple times, but we really just don't know like what's going to be there. And I don't know if Twitch even knows at this point the intricacies of what's going to be there. But I'll be there. I think all of us are going to be there regardless. I've already got hotel booked and everything like that.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
That was a good hotel choice, by the way. Same one.
Yep. Yep. I hope I sent that to you, Zeke. If not, we'll contact afterwards.
We got to get like everyone in.
I know. I was talking with my partner in crime, and I was just like, we'll just tell everyone at PAX East. But then literally,
dang, you booked already, huh?
Everyone's already booked. Okay, good. Yeah, wait, we'll tell you already booked. Come on.
All right.
Wait, don't jump the gun.
Motel Holiday Inn.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. You think it's too early, or is this the right time for the for TwitchCon to be a thing?
Phenomenal time. I think if anyone could have done it earlier.
I think the sooner the better, because then you're gonna know, right, whether it's gonna be successful or what. I think mostly this will be a learning experience for everybody.
I think they should have done it before PAX South was a thing.
Yeah, that would have been prime time, I think.
Because
right
they
then.
did PAX East, PAX Prime, and then they sunk TwitchCon like in the middle of those.
Yeah.
Before, you know.
They could have even done November.
No, November's going to be BlizzCon. November is usually the busiest month of the year for our quote-unquote industry. Like, it's the hellish, fucking worst month of the year. For game releases, for events, for, like, esports events. Like, I remember multiple Novembers where there's been, like, 6 or 7 events for esports. And maybe I'll just use that as a transition. Should esports be at TwitchCon?
Whew.
Absolutely.
In what
it's
capacity?
a huge component of Twitch. Absolutely.
In what capacity? Should the LCS be at TwitchCon? Should MLG?
They should plan a tournament at TwitchCon.
MLG's not going to be at TwitchCon. That's a statement.
I think the LDS should be at TwitchCon.
Yeah.
I think you don't want to have so much esports where you're going to cause it to overlook a lot of what you're trying to do with community and stuff like that, because they are different realms. I don't know. You got to be careful.
My fear is if you have the LCS at TwitchCon, then it becomes the LCS at TwitchCon, not TwitchCon, which will have LCS in it. Like that becomes the major point. The LCS is bigger than TwitchCon at this point, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Down the line, that might change.
Is that a problem, though, JP?
Yeah, because then it becomes like that's the main focus of the con, not Twitch being the main focus of the con, if you know what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying, but I mean, do you think that would dissuade people from going?
No, if anything, that's how you fill seats, but I think those need to be separate. Like, I don't think you run a proper esports tournament at the event. I think what you do is you invite esports teams out and maybe have them do some sort of stream or some sort of panel or some sort of collaboration with other teams, and maybe have them play games that the teams don't particularly play, and you have like a small funny competition. But I don't think you have serious esports at the event.
Do you want the LoL community to be there, or do you want the Twitch community to be there? Is basically like, because there's separations. I mean, and your goal would be to cross pollinate them, right? To get the league people to be maybe more interested, or to kind of come over and what's going on with these guys, introduce them to new stuff. But most people are die hard, so.
Well, I mean, it's a big part of Twitch. I mean, if you're talking about TwitchCon, you have to address all the different parts of Twitch, and there's no question that even though it's just facilitating, LCS, like that's still a huge part of where our numbers come from, where a lot of our new users come from, where a lot of our new viewers come from. I mean, it's not. I don't think any part of Twitch in any regard should be made less important than the others. So, I mean, for instance, like you just said, okay, what if they moved like a major tournament to TwitchCon, a standalone tournament? Maybe that wouldn't be the best idea. But what about having, a mini event, an addendum that was only at TwitchCon, some kind of invitational, TwitchCon invitational, where, it was completely separate from the other stuff, but embodied a lot of the same values, maybe even run by the same people, and it had some different prize, maybe as far as a global emote for the big streamers or something. That's been a really big theme lately, and it's a fantastic one because every streamer really wants to fight for one of those. there's all sorts of things they could do to include them without necessarily absorbing them, or the opposite, being absorbed.
I think that goes back though to like maybe having streamer, not sponsored, but streamer run events where maybe a streamer, or if we're using LCS as our hypothetical example or league players as a hypothetical example, maybe like we'll just go with TSM, right? You have their team there. Maybe TSM is running a viewer tournament where they're having people be able to sign up to play in their tournament over the 2 days, and one of the prizes or goals is you get to have a shot at TSM, taking TSM on head to head in a game at the end if you make it all the way through or something like that. Something that's interactive with that prospective streamer. Right. Something like that could definitely work, and that also brings those people down to the level where, hey, I'm willing to interact with my community, because I think this is what TwitchCon is all about, right? It's getting streamers in with their community.
It's a good point, because, like, I guess to rephrase my question, and also before we even begin, LCS, for those that don't know, I see a lot of people in chat saying it's the League of Legends Championship Series. It's probably one of the biggest, if not biggest, or the biggest esports thing on Twitch. It gets like 500,000 concurrent most times that it's live, et cetera, et cetera. One of the biggest channels by far. But anyways, I forgot what my original point was going to be. But I guess still on this topic, like, a lot of people are giving me flack for being someone that's been in esports and left, and I have ill will towards like esports as an industry. It's totally not that. I feel that Twitch is a community of broadcasters, and to treat Twitch or to treat the LCS as an individual, you can't have them be like a major force in a con like that. They will have their own places at con. You saw them at, I don't know if they still do stuff with PAX, but they have been at PAX before. I don't know if they're going to be at PAX again. But it really took over those conventions. Yeah.
Do you think that, like, the analogy that my brain came up with, it would be like, you have like this festival of all these like musicians, and then it's like Paul McCartney is gonna be there, and it just overshadows the entire like festival. It's like you're gonna have these guys who are great and these guys who are great, but Paul McCartney's gonna be there, and that's why everybody's there to see Paul McCartney.
The wheat has spoken.
Yeah,
I think we're just talking hypothetically.
Yeah,
though.
no, that's all this is, 100%.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think it'll be like that if there's like that competitive law stuff there?
I mean, you could say the same. We could use StarCraft or
yeah.
Smash
Again, we're
Brothers
singling out
any...
League of Legends because it's the biggest, but you could fill that with any community.
Compartmentalizing the event, I mean, I think that would be really smart. I mean, having it so there's a section for, I mean, I think that stuff would work.
Did you see what we said? Like, LCS will never be at TwitchCon. End of discussion.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. But no, having sections for people that only watch StarCraft on Twitch and only watch World of Warcraft, a Blizzard area and stuff like that. I mean, that would just make sense. Kind of like if you go to a PAX, imagine, you go to PAX and there's all the little sections for vendors of hardware and then games, indie dev, stuff like that. They could do that exact same thing with different areas of Twitch. Variety streamers and what they do over here, hardware and components, computer components over here, all the League of Legends stuff, all the StarCraft stuff, all the World of Warcraft stuff, Counter-Strike. Maybe I'm sure they could combine those in a lot of interesting ways to save on space if they need to. I mean, just giving people the option to walk into TwitchCon and go, okay, I'm at Twitch. I'm at twitch.tv. Now, when I normally get to twitch.tv, I go here, be it League of Legends, StarCraft, variety streaming, whatever it is. So when they walk into TwitchCon, they should be able to go, okay, I watch twitch.tv. What do I watch? And they look around the con and they go, I watch that. And then they walk over there and they get what they want out of the con.
Sure.
Now, if you went to a con and your stuff that you only watched wasn't there, that could be a big issue. If you're a StarCraft watcher and that's all you watch on Twitch, and you go to TwitchCon because you are hoping to catch some of that, and there's not a hint of it anywhere, that would be kind of unfortunate. So I think the more broad they kind of make that, while at the same time focusing on quality over quantity, is something to consider as well.
You need to use a very kids gloves almost when you're putting people in categories, because there are tons of streamers that maybe they're stuck in a certain idea that people have for them. Like, for example, I'm known mostly as an Isaac player, but I play other
That's
games.
An interesting point, yeah.
And I remember once I was put under for the first PAX Prime, they had me under like speedrunners or something like that, and I'm like, well, wait a second, Biznap is on this other panel, and we're practically in the same boat as far as that. And it's like he's under variety, and I'm under speedrunners. But I've beaten over 70 games in the 2 years on my stream that I've been around for, and it's just like you just don't want to label people too much because you're wanting to bring all the communities together. And when you start labeling it, people start to click up, and that's going to only divide people more, I think. But I mean, it can still work. I don't know. You just have to go about it the right way. You don't want to just drive wedges between communities like, oh, I'm part of the variety community, or I'm part of the indie community, or I'm part of the speedrunning community.
You want to just be the Twitch community.
Yes, exactly.
More importantly, though, you can offer, well, not more importantly, but you can offer a venue for people to go and visit other areas. So imagine, at TwitchCon, maybe they had some kind of event or button or reason to make it lucrative for people to move between every section, even ones they may not be interested in, to at least get that exposure to different areas and different facets of Twitch. I mean, I have a lot of people that have told me straight up that have come from League of Legends and been like, oh, I didn't know people played other games. Like, just completely oblivious to the fact that there's more on Twitch than what their buddy linked to them that one night at 2 a.m. I think there's a lot of and I don't, want to say that viewers are ignorant, but there's ignorance of Twitch because of how new it is and how much it has to offer.
Of course.
So using all these different, areas and getting creative ways to move people between them, and that's what Twitch is going to have to figure out because I don't have any great suggestions right now. But finding creative ways to move people between them. Maybe have some kind of thing where you get a Twitch shirt if you check in at every booth.
Here's what you do. All right, I've already solved this in my head. King Shit JP has spoken. Here we go.
Lean back.
Everyone lean back and marvel at my intelligence right now. Here we go. All right. Dota 2. There you go. Thank you very much. Dota 2 at the Invitational or whatever it's called. They did everything digitally.
That's a really shitty idea. Cobalt, do you have any other good ones?
So you get things. You have your Twitch pass. Twitch streamers digitally sign it. They get an emoticon badge in the chat. The more streamers that you have sign this stuff, the more perks you get for this chat badge, et cetera, et cetera. That's how you get people to mingle with other streamers that they're particularly not normally doing it. So if you have 100 streamers there, then you get that 100 mark, you get something crazy on Twitch. They build it in like that. That's like the perfect way to mingle.
Like how would they sign it?
No, digitally sign it so that it's easier to mark with. That's how they do it at the Invitational. You have people digitally sign your items in game. And then your digital items on your in-game characters have like a signature from that pro player. So like my Bloodseeker has so and so's name on it or whatever.
Are you talking about like a Twitch Turbo-esque badge?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, and the badge builds itself over time with the amount of streamers on it.
There would be people that go to TwitchCon just for that.
There you go.
People go crazy for the badges and the emoticons. Anything in chat,
people
are usually willing to throw down.
Out. Yep.
Exactly.
Dude, JP. Okay, I got to admit, that's a damn good idea. That's damn good.
Thank you. Thank you. Also, the next best idea comes from Zeke, and it was in the chat. Twitch, build a booth, put up big walls, and give Zeke a hammer and just have him smash shit that people bring up and then hand it to people.
Can we have him smash stuff with the dildo keyring though?
That's one of they can choose. People can choose.
It'd be like an old Gallagher show, Zeke edition. Instead of watermelons, just random crap people bring him.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be all. I'd watch Zeke just break stuff for like an hour.
Zeke smash it.
Yeah.
Make him a huge replica.
Will it blend? Can it smash?
Can it smash? Maybe that's a new YouTube series for your YouTube channel, Zeke, is Can I Smash This?
Can Zeke smash?
Get some sponsorship. It's like, Zeke will never be able to smash our new blah 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 keyboard. Really?
and then it goes to a picture of Zeke holding the knuckle and the axe, just looking at it, just like if you could somehow get those through the airport to the con, that would be amazing. But that would be pretty rough.
Yep.
There it is.
That's what you would use. Yep. Ready. The good one. The good one. You think panels, a la PAX, should be at TwitchCon? Should that be a thing where they're in separate rooms and not necessarily on a big stage?
I'd be more
I'm going to be
comfortable.
totally honest. I avoid panels generally at events for that reason. And this
Would
is the same
panel-
thing
for
when I
what
talked to
reason?
Twitch about it. For the fact that when you go to these big events, a lot of times these panels, you have to remove yourself from the event. A lot of times it almost feels like you're leaving. Like, and a lot of times, if you're in a panel that's a multiple hours, hour one, you're kind of like, so I wonder what's going on out there. I wonder who's at the
This
Twitch
is
booth.
Twitch booth time.
Yeah, basically, no, that's right. But I've always, the thing that I've really liked about these events is the aspect of, all this stuff happening around you, and you can just kind of tune in and tune out at your leisure. I feel like panels a lot of times just take such a big component out of that. Now I know some people love panels. Some people go to those kind of stuff just for the panels.
Right.
So I'm not saying don't have panels. I'm just saying it'd be really cool if they also kind of had mediums where, imagine if there was a section where people were just giving a panel-like discussions on the show floor. So just like if you guys went to the last PAX East, there was an Evolve announcer who was standing literally in the middle of PAX East, with basically a microphone, and he was going over Evolve and all the fun stuff, and there was this huge throng of people, just standing there
Right.
in the middle of the event, listening and watching, and everything was great. And I kind of saw that, take that to the panel level where there was real intelligent discussion going on the stage. That could be really cool and kind of bring a lot more people to it that may not normally see it.
I worry that becomes to make up a term, that becomes like the E3ification of a TwitchCon, though. If it becomes that, then it becomes like booth A versus booth B, fighting for your eyes on whatever they're doing in terms of loudness. And I don't necessarily want to see something like that. It's not necessarily bad. I just personally would not want to see something like that at a TwitchCon. But
Well, that being said, there's a lot of the panels just don't interest me at PAX, and if you're having panels at TwitchCon, they're mostly probably going to be about relevant topics that could be interesting to you as well. So I don't know. I'd really it would have to be like, what is the content? Who's going to be there? What are you bringing that's unique besides, just we're going to spend an hour of time talking about like one or two things or, whatever. It would have to be something unique and interesting. And that's really what's going to bring people to a panel. But I really don't like also having to separate myself from the convention as well. So
that's true.
I don't know. It's just a coin toss for me, really.
It's true. When you go to a PAX, you do kind of treat it like, all right, I'm going to go to the show floor, and then it's a completely different experience. Whereas I'm going to go to this panel and wait in line. They do separate that.
There'd have to be, some creativity in this. Like, for instance, imagine if, let's say the show floor is a rectangle, put these stages in the four corners. That way they're never competing with each other. They're kind of out of the way. If you don't want to listen, you can just keep walking. But at the same time, you may hear a few words of it that'll pull you over. But it's not invasive. It's not competing with it. Like if they wanted to do something like that, there's all sorts of ways they can do it. But at the same time, like I was saying earlier, a lot of people just prefer escaping the show floor for a little bit and listening to something that really interests them, getting off their feet, so that's
true.
I have to because it's so loud sometimes.
Like, what panel's going on? Who cares? There's a chair in there.
Yeah.
I just want to get
Pretty
to the
much,
chair.
yeah.
It's very true. It's very true. I just got a warning in your chat, by the way, for cursing. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, it won't happen again, sir. I'm sorry.